Good afternoon, mom. Good afternoon, classmates. So today, I'm going to discuss about assessing learning, and our objectives are understand and appreciate assessment, differentiate formative and summative. So the first part of this discussion is the importance of assessment. Assessment is essential because it aligns with K-12 standards, is guided by Deped Order Number 8, series of 2015, and promotes 21st century skills like problem solving and collaboration. The last one is helps ensure students' success and proper development. So, what is assessment? Assessment is the process of tracking learning progress. It must align with curriculum standards, lesson objectives, and the 21st century skills. For instance, a science teacher assesses critical thinking by giving a real world problem that requires applying what was learned. So, next is the ZPD and assessment. ZPD, or Zone Proximal Development by Vygotsky, suggests that students learn best when guided slightly beyond their current level. And of course, the assessment should be learner centered, inclusive of student diversity, help move from guided to independent learning. For example, a teacher gives hints during a problem solving task but gradually withdraws support as the students gains confidence. And now let's proceed to unity of instruction and assessment. This slide emphasizes that instruction and assessment go hand in hand. Teaching isn't separate from checking what students know. For example, when a teacher explains a topic and then asks getting question or gives an activity to see if students understood, that's both teaching and assessing. Assessment should occur before, during, and after lessons, not just at the end. It also highlights that learning should be applied in real life situations, not only measured through paper and pencil tests. For example, a science teacher might assess students' understanding during a group experiment by observing and asking questions, not just through a quiz. And now let's discuss about the standards-based curriculum. So let's talk about the content standard. So content standards uses diagnostic assessment to check readiness before lessons. And the performance standards use formative assessment during learning. The learning competencies uses summative assessment after lessons. Each type of assessment is used at a different time and serves as a specific purpose to guide learning and measure achievement. Example, a math teacher gives a pre-test or diagnostic, uses group activities which is the formative, and ends with the unit with a test, and that is summative. So now let's talk about the principles of assessment. Good assessments follow these key principles. Number one, align with curriculum standards. They must measure what is meant to be taught. The second is formative prepares for summative. Ongoing assessments help learners do better on final ones. The third is results improve learning. The data helps teachers adjust teaching strategies. And the last one is not used to threaten students. Assessment should support learning, not create fear. Example, giving feedback on a draft before the final project helps students improve. So there are two types of assessment. The first one is the formative assessment and the second one is the summative assessment. So let's talk first about the formative assessment. When we say formative assessment, it happens throughout the learning process. It's informal and not graded. It's used to monitor progress and guide instruction. This type includes games, checklists, and class discussions. For instance, a teacher might ask students to list what they know or the KWL chart before starting a lesson and observe their participation during group work. And the second type of assessment is the summative assessment. This type occurs at the end of a unit and checks whether learning goals were met. It is graded and often includes tests, final projects, or presentations. Example: after a history lesson, students take a unit test or create a timeline poster as a summative test. So now let's talk about the assessment and math. So math assessment can be written work, solving problems, analyzing data, or drawing graphs. And also it could be performance test, real life applications like outdoor measurement activities or making a video explaining about a concept. Example is students solve algebra problems on paper which is written, then use rollers and shapes to measure angles around school grounds. So that is performance. So ZPD what's trying to say about assessment is that it focuses on what learners can do with help, use support or scaffolding to reach independent learning, adjust tasks based on learners' needs and readiness, and feedback is essential. And here are the summary of our discussion. Assessment improves learning, not just measures it. ZPD makes assessment learner centered. Use both formative and summative assessments, always aligned with learning standards and goals. And that's all for our today's discussion. I hope you learned something today. Thank you.